Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping into a really high-energy sermon by Sarah Jakes Roberts. We're going deep on her message about strength, perseverance, and identity. Our mission here is to pull out the core insights, kind of a shortcut, really to understand how she frames individuals, especially women, as these powerful forces against, well, life's challenges.
Exactly. And this deep dive, I think it'll really show how these spiritual ideas aren't just abstract. They offer a practical framework for dealing with real struggles. It's about seeing challenges differently through this lens of inherent strength, maybe even, predestined victory.
Okay, so she kicks things off with a core concept, right?
Yeah.
From Genesis 3.15, that's where God declares enmity, hostility between the serpent and the woman. The sermon defines enmity pretty clearly, actively opposed or hostile to someone or something.
Right.
But here's the twist Roberts brings, and it's crucial. She says it's a two-way street.
Ah, okay. So not just feeling opposed.
Exactly. Not only do we feel that opposition, but, and she puts this so powerfully, we also are opposition to the enemy. You can really feel her frustration when she talks about the devil telling me who I can be and what I can do. She's like, you don't have no power here.
That's such a significant shift, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Going from just being the target of hostility to actually being an active force against it, an agent of opposition. And this is where she makes that really bold statement. A woman who knows who she is and God is the enemy's greatest threat.
Right. And she gives examples, doesn't she?
Yeah, really vivid ones, like being 13 and pregnant, or going through a divorce, struggling with addiction. Even in those moments, the sermon argues that person is still positioned as this threat. It's quite something.
It is.
And it points to this unique power she attributes to women, this ability to take a seed, like an idea or just potential, and turn it into something real. A person, a nonprofit, a business. She mentions Christine Caine and Propel as an example.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It makes you wonder, what does that really say about our inherent drive to create, to transform things, even when we're facing really tough stuff?
That's a great question. And it flows right into the next part, where she asks this really intriguing question. She asks, why the woman? Why couldn't the enmity be between the serpent and the man?
Interesting.
And her answer.
Well, it's not what you might expect. Not because the woman was seen as weaker, the opposite. It was because in God's plan, it wasn't meant to be just a fair fight.
Yeah.
It was a fixed fight.
A fixed fight, meaning?
Meaning God knew the win would be guaranteed. He set it up that way. And this leads her to this really powerful affirmation. You're the woman for the job.
Wow. Okay.
And she applies this directly to things we all might face. A cancer diagnosis, maybe a child who's, acting crazy, job struggles, depression. The core message is that thing, whatever challenge you're facing, is designed to birth the best version of you. So that fixed fight idea, it completely reframes what we might see as weakness, doesn't it? From this divine viewpoint, what looks like a disadvantage is actually part of the strategy. It's a setup for victory.
Exactly.
So for you listening, the implication is huge. Your current struggles, they're not meant to take you out. Not at all. They're there for a reason, a transformative purpose, to help you become your best self. And it really hits home that feeling unqualified, which, let's be honest, so many of us feel.
Oh, absolutely.
That feeling doesn't disqualify you, not from the position, the role God has put you in.
So, okay, if that's the framework, how do we actually live that out? How does it work in practice? Roberts brings in the story of Mary. Mary, who definitely felt overwhelmed, but was still the woman for the job. And the first lesson she pulls from Mary is go anyway.
Go anyway, even without all the answers.
Right. Mary didn't know how it would all work out, raising a king. How? But she chose trust. She chose to go anyway. And the sermon really stresses this. God gives you what you need as you go. He orders your steps. So that decision, just to go, it's this profound act of trust. It's saying, look, I don't have it all figured out, but I trust you. I just want to be where you say I should be. Think about that. Maybe it's forgiving someone when it hurts like hell, or starting that thing, that business, without all the funding lined up, just going anyway.
That takes courage.
It does. And the second lesson from Mary, use what you know. Even though Mary didn't see the whole picture, how this tiny baby, this small thing becomes the king, the big thing.
Right.
She did what she knew. She followed the customs purification, presenting the baby at the temple. She worked with what she had, what she understood. The idea is when we activate what we know, it sort of gives God permission to show us more, to teach us more.
Okay, activate what you know, even if it feels small.
Yeah, and she uses forgiveness as a really challenging example here. She says, pretty provocatively, our forgiveness isn't predicated on whether or not that person is actually sorry.
Ooh, that's tough.
It is. It's about our decision to go anyway with forgiveness, activating what we know about grace, even when the outcome isn't guaranteed or the other person hasn't changed.
Okay, I see. Use what you know, even when it's hard.
Yeah. Then she gets into this really fascinating paradox, the promise versus the process. Mary's encounter with Simeon in the temple really highlights this. Simeon confirms the promise, yes, this baby is salvation. Amazing. But then
There's a but.
there's a big but. He says, a sword will pierce through your own soul. And that feels like such a contradiction, doesn't it? You think, wait, God, you gave me this promise. You didn't mention the swords, the trauma, the bankruptcy.
Hey, we want the promise without the pain.
Exactly. But Roberts has this incredible insight. She says, God put the but first.
Put the but first.
Yeah, B-U-T-T, meaning
Yeah.
he gives the revelation and the promise first, and then comes the process.
Okay. Promise first, process second.
Right. So the burden, she says, is on us to remember that but first, that initial promise, when we're right in the thick of the painful process. She gives these powerful examples. No weapon formed against you will prosper. The promise, the but, comes before the weapon shows up.
Mm-hmm.
The joy of the Lord is your strength. That's there before the depression might hit. Though he slays you, you can trust in him. The trust is grounded before the struggle. So the call to action is really clear. You got to start telling your situation, I know what it looks like, but I know what God said first.
Remember what God said first. That's powerful.
It really is. And this leads right into sort of a final challenge about activating your role. Roberts warns about the danger of silence. When we feel that hostility, that enmity, and we just go quiet.
It becomes a one-way street again.
Precisely. It just feeds off all those old negative messages, the statistics, the past failures. Instead, she says, God is looking for a few good women, people who aren't afraid to go to war, to be the opposition. And a key strategy she offers is zooming out of the picture.
Zooming out. How so?
Like, instead of getting stuck focusing only on the middle part, the pregnancy at 13, the college dropout, the tough job, whatever it is.
Right, the difficult present.
Yeah, you intentionally zoom out. You look at God's promise from the very beginning, its formation, and you look ahead to its manifested glory. It's about perspective. It's about, as she puts it, clearing the way for glory, not just getting bogged down in the current struggle.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But how do we actually do that? How do you practically zoom out and keep moving when that middle part feels so real and overwhelming?
That's a great question.
And the sermon uses Eve, actually, as another example here, which is interesting. Even though Eve didn't see the ultimate fulfillment of the Genesis promise, Jesus, the seed, right away,
No, of course not.
centuries later.
Right. But her focus, the sermon suggests, was on setting the promise in motion. And this brings up the idea of throw another seed at it.
Throw another seed at it. Yeah. Like, don't just stop. If your first attempt, your first seed, doesn't immediately blossom into the final promise.
Yeah.
Don't shut down. Keep producing. Keep trying. Keep throwing seeds.
Persistence. Keep setting things in motion.
Exactly. It's all about activation. You don't have to worry about dragging everyone else across the finish line with you or making your new business a Forbes cover story overnight. The focus is simpler. Just set something in motion. Use what you know. Keep working it until you get where you're called to be.
Wow. Okay, so what a journey in this deep dive. We started with understanding enmity, not just feeling it, but being opposition.
The two-way street.
Then that surprising truth of the fixed fight, God guaranteeing the win. We got that practical wisdom from Mary. Go anyway, even when you're scared, and use what you know to get things moving.
Activating what you have.
Yeah. And tackling that paradox of promise and process, remembering the but first, when those swords inevitably appear. And finally, activating our role, refusing silence, zooming out, and just setting promises in motion, throwing another seed at it. The message running through it all seems incredibly clear. You, listening right now, you are the woman for the job.
It's a powerful message. And maybe a final thought to leave you with is this. What is? What if the very things you're going through right now, those swords you're facing, what if they aren't mistakes or detours from the promise? What if they are actually the essential, maybe uncomfortable, but necessary catalysts designed to grow you up, to shape you into the person who can actually handle and fulfill that promise in its absolute fullness?